Okay, in this video we're going to go over reading and writing files in C. Okay, so we'll do this part here. Let's go into our class, and we're working here in our memorized directory. So if we look at files, so reading and writing and printing to the screen is the first thing. I'll go to my empty and save this as readfile.c. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take the name of the file as a command line argument. So I'll say char star file name equals argv bracket 1. That's the first command line argument. And just to guard against bad behavior, if argc is less than 2, that means the program was run like this with no arguments, and I'll print a usage statement, whatever this is going to be called. So the name of the program and then file name dot txt or something like that, and exit. Okay, so otherwise we have the file name, and your line to open the file is, we have a file star is the name of the type of variable, and then we have some name for it, so I'll call it fn equals fopen file name and r for reading. For the file name here, instead of file name, could use hello.txt if we have the name of the file, or argv bracket 1, or anything that is a char star. So this is a char star, this is a char star, this is a char star constant, this is a string constant. And this fopen, what it returns is, it returns a file star, and if it was unable to open the file, this will be null. So I would printf unable to open file file name and exit. Let's go ahead and test it. First, there is a close. So you open. We'll do stuff here, but first we'll go ahead and test. So if I do it like that, there's my checking the command line arguments right here. Now if I do hello.txt, there is no hello.txt, so this fn equals null happened. Okay. Now once we have it open, we can do a variety of things with this fn. So we can do fscanf, we can do fgetc. There are others. And we can look at fscanf. Sometimes these have examples. So here's one that's with scanf. Let's look at that again. So we have fscanf here is the same as scanf. There's this string here that can have a %s, a %d. But first we put our file star variable. And you could, of course, also look online for fscanf example. And any of these will be fine to look at as an example. They'll have the information there and then an example. There's the fopen and there's fscanf. So one thing we can do is say, so we can say result equals fscanf fn %s. Let's say we read strings. If we have room for 99 in there, then do it like this. And the fscanf will return 1 if it read in one field, and it will return something else. Look here. It could be 0 or EOF. So if we get the value 1 into result, then that means we read it in. So as long as that we go ahead and read it in, it returns 1, then we could just print to the screen. Go ahead and check this. Alright, so what's going to happen if I run it now? It doesn't read from that file because that file doesn't exist. Let's go ahead and look at our passwords file. So there it just prints them 1 per line. Now what if I have, let's see what's in test. Alright, so let's say we have that file and we run R with this. It prints them 1 per line. Okay, so something that we could have is if we had reasons that you would use this, I'll say note more interesting examples. So we could have a passwords.txt, and in there it could be username, password, username, password, username, password. And so then when we scanf, we would scanf 2 things in a row to read the username and the password, and then maybe we would be checking what the user typed. There's one example. Really any kind of information that we would store in a file, game information maybe. So we'd have player 1, name, player 1, X position, player 1, Y position, player 1, health, player 2, name, player 2, X position, player 2, Y position, player 2, health, and so on. All right, anything that we would be thinking of storing data in a file, here's one way to access it. All right, so this is reading a file. Let's look at writing a file. We'll start with this. Okay, we're going to have a file name, we're going to write to it. Now, instead of calling my variable fout, fin, I'll call it fout. Instead of an R, we have a W for write. Okay, and now we're going to, instead of fscanf, we would do fprintf. So I could do fprintf, fout, and then anything that I would normally do with fprintf. So I could do here int I equals 0, I is less than 100, I plus plus, and then fprintf %I, maybe I we print off the perfect squares, and that would go into the file. Let's take a look at that. Okay, called my variable fout, and why don't we also take a look here. Can't quite fit all of that on the screen. Why don't we take a pause here, just make sure that you look at each piece of the code and what is it all doing. Okay. There it is, there's it all. Alright, go ahead and write it. So I would say write file, let's see, w and maybe test.txt. Nothing prints to the screen because the fprintfs are going into this fout, which I called test.txt. So there it is. I forgot to put new lines. Let's put the new lines in. And look at it again. There it is. So my perfect squares up to 99 squared. That is, so that's opening with a W and fprintf. Okay, so the basic three operations that you need to remember with fscanf, fprintf, or sorry, with doing files is, let's go over to our notes. We're in this file. Probably we're going to take this and put this into the next video so we can keep these relatively short. Okay, so let's go over to our notes here. And we're looking at C programming. Okay, so C functions, we'll put under the basics here. File IO. So there's always three steps. Is fopen, and then you have read or write, and that could be with fprintf, fscanf. It could be with fgetC, fputC, or whatever, and then fclose at the end. So those are always the three steps. So you have an fopen, you print to the file, eventually you close the file. And we'll put in here 1.5 check that open, right? So we have that here. We check to see whether we got a null value. All right, and so we'll call that the end of this video.